start moving to our seats, and if we could close the door in the back so we can just control the volume. I'm going to wave to the IT so we can begin the recording. All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the City of Boynton Beach City Commission meeting. Today is Tuesday, March 5th, 2024, and the time is now 6 p.m. Let's turn to our city clerk for a roll call vote, who is currently stepped out.
She just had to print something. I can do the roll.
No worries. So what I can do in the meantime is just remind everybody of our rules of civility and decorum. And then if she's still not back, we'll turn to you. Speakers must first be addressed by the chair, which is me, before and not interrupt any speaker. Public comments must be addressed to the body here as a whole and not to any particular individual on the dais or in the audience. Personal insults, attacks are strictly prohibited. Disruptive behaviors, stamping of feet, yelling, whistling, likewise are strictly prohibited. Should you violate these rules, we will give you a warning, but should you continue to violate them, you may be asked to leave these chambers and you will not be readmitted to our meeting. So please govern yourselves accordingly. All right, City Attorney, if you could just begin the roll call.
Yes. Commissioner Cruz?
Present.
Commissioner Kelly?
Here.
Commissioner Hay?
Here.
Vice Mayor Turkin?
Present.
Mayor Panserga?
Here. All right, thank you. We have a quorum, and we're going to turn now to our invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Our invocation this evening will be led by Commissioner Woodrow Hay, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, also led by Commissioner Woodrow Hay. Let's all stand for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Almighty and everlasting Father, we are grateful for this day to serve. Thank you for our health and our strength. Bless each member of this commission and their families in a special way. As we gather here in the month of March, we are mindful of the significance of this moment in Women's History Month. We come before you seeking wisdom, guidance, inspiration, as we engage in important work of serving the citizens of this great city of Boynton Beach. We recognize the contributions and sacrifices of our women throughout history, whose resiliency and determination have paved the way for progress and equality. May we honor their legacy by fostering an environment where all individuals, regardless of gender, are treated with dignity, respect, and fairness. Grant this commission the strength and the courage to uphold the principles of equal liberty and justice for all citizens of Boynton Beach. May our decisions and action reflect a commitment to all inclusiveness, diversity, and unity within our community. Bless this gathering this afternoon with clarity of thought, compassion, goodwill toward one another. Guide us as we strive to make decisions that positively impact the lives of those we serve. We ask it all in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus the Christ, we pray, and all God's people say, amen.
Amen.
We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, everybody, and thank you, Commissioner Hay, for that. We are going to turn now to agenda approval, additions, deletions, and corrections. Now, I was informed by our city staff that there are 2 items to be added, thank you so much, to be added under consent. I'm going to turn to Assistant City Manager Catherine Matos. Could you tell us about those 2 items?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. We have 2 agreements with mural artists that were selected. The community shortlisted from a list of artists that we put out a call to artists in November. We've been meeting with the community on a almost weekly basis, and they shortlisted the artists that submitted, and then we brought it to the art board in February, and the art board selected 2 of the artists. The purpose of entering into the agreements is to be able to install 2 murals as part of the Unity project. And I can give more detail on it during the item, but I'd like to request to add these 2 to the agenda under consent.
All right, thank you, Catherine. I have no objections to that. Let me turn to my colleagues. Do they have any questions for Catherine or any objections to adding it under consent? All right, no objections. Thank you, Catherine. Let me turn to our city manager. My understanding is you'd like to move up one of the presentations. Is that correct?
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to move up the CIP presentation, which is 9B, before public comment, if that's possible.
I have no objections to moving up item 9B. This is the CIP presentation right before public audience. Colleagues, yes? Okay. All right, let's go around the dais. Let's begin with Commissioner Kelly. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections from you?
Thank you, Mayor. I do have one thing I would like to add to future agenda items. In speaking with Adam, we have a couple Live Local projects that are coming up, and we talked about possibly the department doing a quarterly summary to the commission on the projects that administratively go through them as opposed to coming to us, so that the public can hear what is going on and we can kind of hear what's going on as well. So I would like to add that to future agenda items as something to, or that we get a quarterly update when there's a new project that is, that's come up.
Right. That's an excellent idea, Commissioner Kelly. I don't know if we need to have a discussion per se. Can we just have a consensus here to, that's something that we want to see on the agenda? You are correct, because these projects are approved administratively per the new state law, so we don't know what's happening. So thank you for bringing that up. Was there anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Hay?
Yes, Mayor, do you want the pull items in 6 and 7 now, or you want to wait till we get there?
I think we can pull them. I think it's best we pull them once we get to the consent category. Yeah? Anything else outside of that?
That's it.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
I don't have anything, Mayor.
All right. Commissioner Cruz?
Nothing for me.
All right, with that, so we have the 2 added agenda items. We're moving up 9B to right before public audience, and we have a consensus here for a presentation, an update, a quarterly update for Live Local projects. Thank you so much. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
The motion came from Commissioner Cruz, second from Commissioner Hay. All those in favor of the motion to amend the agenda say aye. Aye. All those who oppose? The ayes have it. Motion passes unanimously. The agenda is amended. Thank you. We're going to move on to Section 2, informational items of members of the City Commission. Let's turn to Commissioner Cruz if you have any informational items.
I have no informational items, Mayor.
All right,
Sorry,
thank-
my voice is still
Not a problem. Okay. Nothing from Vice Mayor. Commissioner Hay, anything, any updates?
Yes, I just want to
I'll circle back.
point out the successful burning of the ordinances 37, 47, 136. That was a momentous occasion. There was a good turnout, and I want to hats off to our fire department, police, and everyone who participated in any way. And I say to all of us, we still may want to go back for a second pass to take a look, because we may have missed 1 or 2. But those of you who are here and participated in that activity at Sarah Sim Park, I want to say thank you. Right here in little old Boynton, we made national news on going through our books and finding those ordinances that should not have been there in the first place. So again, hats off to all of us here in Boynton Beach. We are a model for other cities to follow. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Commissioner Hay. Commissioner Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I don't have any informational items, but I did want to just recognize the events team for I want to say last minute, we had our first Friday concert due to the CRO no longer being able to host Blarney Bash. The city events team really pulled together at kind of on short notice to make it kind of a combo First Friday St. Patrick's Day event. So I just want to thank events team for pushing that out and doing a great job. Ditto Commissioner Hay on the ordinance burning event and the march to Sarah Sims. It was a great experience. We had a lot of residents turn out, which was awesome. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's turn to Vice Mayor. You said there was something else?
Yep, I just wanted to thank city staff for all the road shows we've been doing at Marina Village, Sterling Village, and Forest Park. Those community forums have been great. I think we had like a record turnout over at Sterling Village, and I know the community appreciates all the hard work and all the time you guys are spending after hours without your family, so thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I want to echo the sentiments made already. That was a great event regarding the ordinance burning. There was, on top of everything you've said, Commissioners, great food, great music. I couldn't be happier. It was a good day. All right, so that concludes all informational items. The first item under announcements, community and special events and presentations is a recognition of sponsors and partners for Magic Wheels and special deals and barrier-free 5K. The City of Boynton Beach Recreation and Parks Department hosted the annual Joe DiMaggio Children's Health Specialty Center Magic Wheels and Special Deals event. At this time, the City of Boynton Beach would like to acknowledge Joe DiMaggio's Children's Health Specialty Center for its donation at the event's title sponsor, Chariots on Ice, and Little Wolf Carpentry for their construction of this year's Magic Wheels, and the Greater Boynton Beach Foundation and the Broward, Palm Beaches, and St. Lucie Realtors Group for hosting the barrier-free 5K that supports Congress Avenue Barrier-Free Park. I know at least 2 members of the commission, possibly more, were at the 5K. So you are braver than I am, because I don't know if I would have survived that. And if staff could quickly just show everyone the Magic Wheel project that they unveiled. All right.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Stephanie Soplop, Recreation Facility Coordinator. I just want to take a moment also to, on behalf of the city, thank all of our community partners that help us with these events. It's definitely a team effort. It might not seem like a large-scale event, but it means it does a large-scale impact to the disability community. So we're grateful to have our sponsor over and over for many years, Joe DiMaggio Children's Health Specialty Center, and all of our community partners that help build the event. I do have a couple plaques here. I don't know if the mayor could come down and I could take a picture of you with our amazing builders, the team from Chariots of Love and Little Wolf Carpentry. And as you can see, there's a picture of the spaceship that was designed this year by these 2 amazing builders and a couple other volunteers. Leandro was our Magic Wheels recipient, and one of his likes is spaceships, so he got to have his very own spaceship this year.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'll stand between you guys. Thank you, Steph. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And then I'll allow Valerie to say a few words as well.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. This was our 5th year building the Magic Wheels, and I want to thank Jeff Cohen of Little Wolf Carpentry. He took the lead position on the build team. It was myself, Little Wolf, Nathan Wellman, and Rosalie Cohen that did the build. And this space shuttle is actually built over a mobility device that this 8-year-old boy, he has cerebral palsy, and it's a mobility device that he's going to be able to use for several years. So this is just kind of a decoration that he may or may not keep, but it's going to give him some good health and something that he can structurally use to help his body as he goes older. And so we appreciate being part of Magic Wheels, and we look forward to creating a fantasy creation for next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is a proclamation. It's for Let's Move Palm Beach County Month. Let me read it for the record, and I see it's already posted on the screen. Whereas the City of Boynton Beach takes special notice and acknowledges exceptional organizations that helps residents who live, work, and play within the jurisdiction. And whereas in 2010, Digital Vibes was founded to reach out to underserved youth in Palm Beach County by empowering them through dance fitness, technology, and the arts. And whereas Digital Vibes, Inc. and Palm Beach Health Foundation present the annual challenge, which takes place annually from March 1st to the 31st, and encourages individuals within and beyond Palm Beach County to take charge of their health by participating in fun fitness exercises. And whereas the Let's Move initiative was originally introduced on a national level by First Lady Michelle Obama in 2010, with the goal of decreasing childhood obesity throughout the United States due to the fact that nearly 1 in 3 children in the United States are overweight or obese. And if this problem persists, 1/3 of all children born in 2000 or later will suffer from diabetes at some point in their lives or will face other obesity-related health problems such as heart disease, high blood pressure, asthma, and cancer. And whereas Digital Vibes and the Palm Health Foundation invite all residents to take the challenges to move by forming teams, registering online, and committing to exercising for at least 30 minutes a day throughout the month of March, and logging their minutes on the Let's Move website, www.letsmovepbc.org. In 2012, the Palm Beach County logged 100,000 minutes in the first year of the challenge, and we have met the challenge each year since, rising in 2023 to over 100 million minutes logged. Now, therefore, I, Typin Serga, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2024 as Let's Move Palm Beach County. And if I'm not mistaken, we have Cassie Romulus, Director of Operations of Digital Vibes Inc. present. Come on down. Let me present this proclamation to you, and if you'd like to say a few words about what you do and how you impact the community.
Good evening. I'm Cassie Romulus. I would like to thank you all for this proclamation, making the month of March the Let's Move Commit to Change Challenge for Palm Beach County and thank you, City of Boynton Beach. We work really hard in the community to empower youth and families to not only be active, but to also express themselves in a positive way, whether that's through dance, fitness, technology, or the arts. And so this partnership with Palm Health Foundation has really helped us to get that fitness proportion out there. So I really want to thank all of you for making March the proclamation for us. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. We're moving on. Again, we amended the agenda to move up item 9B to right before public audience. 9B is the fiscal year 23-24 capital improvement plan update. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So sorry.
Go ahead, yeah.
I've been thinking for a couple weeks to bring up a proclamation for Women's History Month. I know we've done it in the previous years, and because I was sick, my mind just wasn't there. So maybe if we end up canceling the March 19th meeting and we don't have it, then maybe for the following meeting in April, maybe we could, do the Women's History Month proclamation a little bit late, if that's possible.
I have no objections to it. I would just recommend just reach out to the city clerk. They do the processing of proclamations. Thank you so much. The presentation for the CIP, if I'm not mistaken, is that you, Mr. Guzman? Yes, come on up. Introduce yourself and you may begin.
Good morning, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, my esteemed colleagues, members of the public. My name is Mario Guzman, Director of Public Works. I'm going to be giving you, I'm going to try to cram a CIP update, which is a total of 96 projects. I'll highlight the key ones. Also going to talk about our road paving initiative we have throughout the city. And we will be giving these CIP quarterly updates, So any suggestions or recommendations you have for the presentation as I move forward for the CIP portion, let me know, and we'll move forward with that, okay? I'd be remiss, I always say I get way too much credit. The Public Works engineering team and project managers are the backbone of the CIP. Whenever there's a contractor doing work for the city, there's a project manager there. We had some construction projects going on. There were 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and our project managers were there. So They don't like when I boast about them, but I'm going to have them stand up and embarrass them because that's what loving parents do. So Rodwell's one of our engineers. Thank you for your service. Appreciate what you do. We have Miss Shiloh, which I threatened on writing her up so she has to leave. I'm like, you got to go. You got to go home. You can't stay. So just a hard worker. Boynton resident. Appreciate what you do. Dr. Calkett is a new hire. No, I'm kidding. She's we have Adelphi Rodriguez. She keeps our money. She keeps our money in line. So where's Ben Dexter? Stand up. Stop hiding back there. So Ben Dexter is one of our PMs. We also have Jose Murray, recently promoted, one of our PMs. And of course, one of my right-hand guy, Mr. Kevin Ramsey. I mean, so I just want to acknowledge this team. They just do a phenomenal job. They're there every day working behind the scenes. There's so many things they find wrong that like the untrained eye would not find. So thank you guys. Appreciate what you do. And also big shout out to the fire department. Thank you, Chief Bruder. I forgot my inhaler, and they patched me up before I came to this meeting, so I'm pretty good. I'm ready to go. Thank you, guys. All right, without further ado, let's jump into the presentation. Oh, where's the slide? There you go. Oops. Okay, agenda. I'm going to talk about surtax funding, the dynamics, a little of the history of the 302 and the 303. I'm going to talk about the 303 projects and details. I did leave a copy for everyone on top of your desk. Top of your respective workstation, and it has all the projects. If you see something that says not started, that's more from a construction aspect. Please bear in mind there's always some kind of engineering or grant application process or something that we're doing behind the scenes. No project is truly just on the shelf. So I'll talk about the 303 projects. I will talk about the 302 projects, the future of the surtax, and then I'm gonna sneak in a little bit about road improvements and just the enhancements and the updates. I know we have a plethora of projects going on throughout the city. Everyone's excited. I want to just talk about those. All right, 303, surtax. That has been, over the past 10 years, the major source of funding for all city projects. A little history on that. The 1 cent sales tax took effect January 1st, 2017, and it will sunset December 31st, 2026. So it's a 10-year period that it caps, or the amount that we get, the maximum amount that we get is $43 million. To be exact, $43.8 million. To date, we have received $43.4 million. So essentially means that for fiscal year 2025, we're anticipated to receive $364,000 of new monies for projects. You will see throughout the budget process that the CIPs might reflect anywhere from $3.2 to $3.8 million, but keep in mind, whatever project we don't finish this year gets carried forward. A perfect example of that will be the Hester Center. That project was actually initiated, I want to say 2 to 3 years ago. When it first started, we encumbered $3 million, and that money kept rolling forward. So in the event you see, you know, hey, Mar, you said 365, why is it 4 million now? That's why those monies are rolled forward. So that's the biggest thing right now. We're anticipating $364,000 of additional monies for next year's CIP. So what does that mean from a budgetary perspective? Essentially, our operating budgets will show an increase for the budget, or the city will have to find a way to fund capital improvements. And I'll elaborate more on that. Regarding CIP, speaking with my colleagues in the county and throughout the county, there's speculation of it being is it mobility, or there's going to be more transportation focused, more mobility focused. Nevertheless, first it has to get approved. Once they decide, it has to go on a ballot. If it gets approved, maybe 2027 until we start getting funding into the city. So all speculation at this point. What's not speculatory is that we're going to get $364,000 additional revenue for next year. So I thought we were going to probably stretch it out one more year. That was not the case, but we are here. So a little bit of the breakdown. I took a snapshot of the 303 surtax line account since 2017. from when it was implemented. We got some funds in 2017, $175,000, and that was put towards transportation and roadway improvements. Our 303 surtax fund was composed of total general government, total HVAC, parks recreation, public safety, technology, and transportation, and we have a transfer through a 302. We do that whenever there's a project that might start off as a initial 303 project, if that project has any kind of revenue aspect to it, and this is more of the accounting, Mara can elaborate on that if needed, but if it becomes an account to where there's a revenue stream tied to it, from a financial perspective, we have to add that into a 302 account. So that's why you might see that number there on 2020. So, total general government. As we have new projects that come up, one that I can think of right now that was not on our radar was Pioneer Park Canal. That's a project that, not an emergency, but we had to shut it down. We use capital improvement funding to get the design. Once we have the design, that allows us to try to seek funding for grants. So, and also in government, specifically for public works, we're in the business of fixing things. So we have to have that contingency fund when things break down. Instead of coming to commission in the event of an emergency, depending on what it is, we have to have that flexibility to be able to repair projects. So anyway, that's on the total general government. HVACs, air conditioning throughout the city. Depending on the system, well, all systems have a finite life cycle, depending on what kind of system it is. It can go anywhere from 5 years to 12 years. So you want to have funding for that. Recreation and parks, we spent a lot of that on playgrounds. We have annual playground inspections. If they fail, we use capital improvement funding to repair those. We recently renovated tennis courts, pickleball courts, Haster Center. That's all out of that recreation line item. And again, things that people don't see behind the scenes. We had an irrigation failure. That was a costly project kind of behind the scenes. That's paid for through capital improvements. Public safety, a lot of the computers, systems, datriums, that's a long line with IT. And then the biggest one, which, kudos to you guys for supporting infrastructure. This is the most I've seen in the city, the most I've ever done for infrastructure and road projects. So I really appreciate that. But you can see the majority of the capital improvement has been, you have a good amount every single year for roads. So that is a breakdown of how the money was spent, the categories, and how it was spent over the past 10 years since the CIP was instituted. You'll see it says 40 million to date. That's actually expensed. We have the other funds either earmarked or encumbered. We did an average. I'll speak about that later in the presentation. We don't know what the request is going to be for CIP funds for CIP projects for next year. We know what it is, but we're going to go through our selection methodology, which I will elaborate throughout the presentation. So that's 303. Any questions? Just jump in. We'll get going. So 303 is funded by surtax. 302 is our true capital improvement fund that's funded by the city. And that's basically through general fund contributions, 303 transfers, CRA reimbursements, grants, gas tax, debt. We have some of our debt that we can balance through there. Some of the traffic safety and recreational transfers go through there as well. When I'll show you guys the 302 funding source, we also mimicked that of the 303. You'll see some miscellaneous and interest. That was just a line item for debt that was covered in past practices. You can see 2018. And then aside from that, CRA reimbursements, that's actually money that we fronted from our fund balance, and the CRA repaid us for that. But what I wanted to highlight specifically is that since 2017 until 22, the city has not contributed towards any capital improvements, truthfully. Nor did they need to, because they had the surtax, which is the surtax, the 303 that I spoke about earlier. However, in 2023, they appropriated $750,000. In 2024, they appropriated $250,000, so we're talking about a total of $1 million towards capital improvements. Not sure, we'll have some more conversations with staff, and I'll get direction from administration and Mara. So 25, you may see anywhere of a request from 3.2 to 5.1, depending on the projects that they come in. And I'll talk about the selection process as well. But just using an average, if you look at historical data, I would say we need about $5 million. And that data is a little bit skewed because you're not doing a HESTA project every 5 years. So that was a costly project. Same thing with the docks, the oil boat ramp docks, some money went to that. So that's why I say, look at it. Once we get the projects, you'll see the request. But if you see that jump up for the budgetary process, you know why. Also, that's the funding source. And then these are the projects, how they're broken down over the past 10 years for 302 projects. Again, total general government, parks, recreation, public safety, information technology, transportation, and that's regarding those funds. We have a total of 25 projects with 302 accounts. Okay, selection criteria. Contrary to popular belief, we don't have a dartboard and just pick projects. There's a system. It's not done by one person. It's done by a governance board. That's something that was implemented 2 years ago with the support of Dan and Andrew. And essentially, we took all of the key stakeholders within the city that these projects affect. I'm going to ask a rhetorical question. What's the most important thing in the city, right? There isn't one thing. It's a combination of public safety, infrastructure, quality of life. So we rated all of these items as area of emergency, as a compliance issue. We take every single project and we rate them, and based on the rating is how we have our recommendation for selection. The rating methodology that we use is just a component of our overall selection process. I will give you a case in point of a project. I love my brother, Chief Bruder. He recommended a project for a lightning awareness system. Some cities have where there's lightning, you hear an alarm going on. I mean, who wouldn't want that? I think that project was about $6 million to get that implemented. As much as we loved that project, we could not fund it. However, I'm not going to steal Mariner's thunder. I can't tell you how many times when projects do not get approved through our selection process, our grants specialist, grants administrator, Mariner is already looking behind the scenes on how can we get some funding. So anyway, governance board, we have our rating structure, and then once we have that, is the fun part of the CIP is the review of funding versus the projects requested. And that's where we just have to sit down and really, with the fine-tooth comb, really, what can we do? What's more important? What's some low-hanging fruit? And that's a needle that's constantly moving that we try to adjust. And of course, we get administration review. We depend on our elected body to give us input from the outside. You guys sometimes we have an idea and we think this is the best thing, and lo and behold, our commissioners let us know, no, it's not that. People want this. And we go in that direction, and that's a win across the board. So it's a collaborative team effort on that. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to steal Myrna's thunder, but when it comes to grants, we've got a pretty good system in place where we're asking for money for a project. And if we don't, there's one in particular that we either ask for grants, we either ask for state appropriations, and if we don't get it, the timing allows us to ask her for CIP. So it's been working phenomenal on that, but she'll talk about that. So, scoring scale. How we break down our projects. Public safety, as you can see, weighs the most. We look at resource demand, time, and direction. That's a fancy way of saying low-hanging fruit. Is there something out there that's wanted that we can take care of pretty fast? It's a pretty fast project. We can cycle in and out. We look at infrastructure, end of life cycle. We look at quality of life, and that's where a lot of our parks and recreation projects come into play. And then aside from that, we have administrative requests and also any community request or any request from the elected body that let us know. Beautification is, I think that's the buzzword of the year. And so, I mean, we're all for it. We want to make sure that we, for lack of a better term, level up our city. So we're committed to that, and we've added that to the CIP. Regulatory compliance, sometimes something isn't beautiful, it's not a community request, it's not a quality of life, it's not infrastructure, but it's a compliance issue and we have to address it. And truthfully, sometimes those just supersede a lot of the other ones. And then we have emergencies that come, so that's our rating scale. And Manny, can you pull up one of the project sheets? I'm just gonna pull up one of the project sheets that you guys have. I'm not gonna go through every single project unless you want me to, but I can highlight some of the ones. So for example, right now what we're looking at is the 302 project. So as I said earlier, the 302 project are projects that either were funded through the city, where we actually appropriated sources for that, either were reimbursed by the CRA, we got some grants, or they might have been a project that initiated in the 302, and because there was multiple funding structures to it, we transferred over to the 302 for accounting purposes. Boynton Beach Visitor Center, that's one that's in process. You see the appropriation. We have the Cultural Center, the Children's Museum to do some upgrades. Intercoastal Artificial Reef, that's on our list. Historic Women's Club, we're doing the crosswalk design. That is a CRA project, but we have to fund it initially, so you'll see it there. Boynton Beach Extension, that's finalized, but it's still on our books. We don't close a project until we're completed with the punch-out list. I can provide you some engineering sheets if you guys have trouble sleeping to read through them, and you can see how we go in detail on every single item from drainage to curb to speed hump height to things on the median. I leash Mosey on you. He'll be here for an hour talking about punch-out items, and Kevin. Little League site improvements. We have money appropriated for Little League site improvements. Sandcastle, that's a project we got, over $15 million for that project. So that includes a lot of the surveying, behind-the-scenes work that gets done that we have to, a lot of those are regulatory compliance that we have to have that. Because it's grant-funded, case in point, it's in the 302. Miscellaneous small projects, like I said, sometimes we have funding for projects and sometimes we have money appropriated knowing that, things break throughout the year and we have to have that contingency. Hester Center, Aeronasium, Eco Park Design is one where it came in overbid, so we're getting ready to go back out and hopefully we get some more aggressive pricing. Again, that's a grant-related project. It goes into 302. Fire Station and 2, we got a Harding grant for that one. If anyone has any questions on any particular project, let me know. I got the squad over here. They can answer any questions for any particular projects. And then we have some of the roadway improvements, Southeast 1st Street Professional Services. We have the Southeast 6th Street Avenue pedestrian crossing. And then we also have the Sandcastle coordinating. Like I said, that one in particular, I know we have, sometimes the federal government requires us to have certain criteria to comply with the grant. North Federal Highway planting, Southeast 6th Street, Southeast 36th Ave. That's a partnership between ourselves and the city of Delray Beach, where we're gonna pave that. We're gonna go half and half. That project, Poonam can speak more to it. I know enough not to get in trouble. I know we're gonna be supplying water to Gulf. So while we're there, it allows us an opportunity for them to tap into our water and yeah, so they can tap into it. So it got delayed for that. Not really a delay, it helps us, it's more efficient, so we have to go back and open it up again. And then CRA improvements throughout the city, that all goes to 302. So yeah, that is a nutshell in the 302 projects. Any questions on the 302 projects?
Yes, I do have, if you would just highlight again for me, the northwest section, from MLK North to the canal.
Yeah,
And then also comment on MLK South.
Gotcha.
In the northwest area. Would you?
can I cover that, the latter part of my presentation is road
Absolutely.
paving?
Absolutely.
And that's definitely on the items to talk about.
Don't forget it.
All right, perfect. Anyone else questions on 302? We're good? Manny, can you pull up 303? Okay, here's our list of 303 projects. And like I said, this is the surtax. We're gonna go over these projects. I'll highlight some of the key ones, but I just wanna I want to have the backdrop, understand we no longer have this funding. You know, we have to find a way to start funding these projects. I'm going to give a case in point about road paving. This year for road paving, I don't have a road paving budget in my streets account. I manage street maintenance. However, this year, I know Dan told me to stay within 3%, but English is my second language, so I don't understand that good. I'm going to ask for an additional $3 million just for road paving as it is, just because if there's no surtax, I'm going to need it in operations. So when you see these jumps in the budget, know why. So, preface. I'm going to replay this presentation at the budget time. So, anyway, 303 projects. We have general government carpet replacement. That's just wear and tear throughout the city. We also have additional HVAC repairs. I believe we were able to utilize some of these for some of our fire stations as they went bad. We did some, this city hall has shrunk, so we had to get some more office spaces. You can see how we renovated some offices within CIP. That's a case in point of an example. We had to just pivot and make some changes and adhere to some changes in demand. Boynton Beach Extension, we have some things going on there. Library sign, cultural center build-outs. Craig and his team were expanding over there. We want to support you guys and build offices there. So that's general projects. Total HVAC projects. The chiller, I believe we spoke about that some time ago. That project is underway. We also have HVAC replacements throughout the city. Public Works has some AC concerns. Working with the fire department on logistics building. We try to do things in-house. Come to find out, their garage doors were messed up. That's why you need that emergency contingency funding. As it relates to parks, Betty Thomas neighborhood, and we had to replace the irrigation breaker over there. Denson Pool, we're getting a new Denson Pool cover. We are doing tennis court renovations at the Hester Park. We also have money appropriated for...
IT, if you could scroll down a little bit, thank you.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that, apologies. Swing set replacement, so you get the gist of it. Anywhere from $20,000 to $3 million, and anything in between is the kind of projects that are funded by the CIP that we no longer will be seeing. Barrier-free park, we're doing site furnish replacements, and that's basically all the receptacles, the seats, the benches, everything that accommodates the public. Tennis court resurfacing, Pioneer boat ramp, that is for the design. Not to steal too much of Myrna's thunder, but I know we're applying for grants for those. Some of our methodology when it comes to projects is, even though we know we can't fund it, we know we don't have the capital, it's hard to ask for state appropriations or grant funding. They want to see if you have skin in the game. If you're so committed, how come you're not funded to it? So a lot of times what we do is we will create these line items so we can say there's a project on file and then put money towards the design. And if we start getting some kind of back and forth with the grant company, then we'll start funding some of the projects, saying, hey, listen, we don't need 100% funding, but then we give us 70%. So that's just some of the tactics that we do in collaboration with our financial team, our finance team, and also our grants team. So Pioneer Park boat ramp, annual playground repairs, Hester Center, Oyer Park, that's a county project. We had to put some money towards that. Fishing deck replacement, we have some replacements there. Wilson Park is one that was finalized recently. Little League privacy wall. Again, a project that just kind of, as things develop, we had to add that to the mix. And then more internally on the city end, we had security cameras, digital sign, Fire Station 3. We have money appropriated to that. It's not enough, but we just want to show that we have the project on the books. Generator, fuel tank replacement, that project. We're holding off on that project because it could be a potential grant opportunity. So it wasn't that we weren't hungry for grants before, but now we're starving for grants because the more grants we can get this year, excuse me, it frees up money for CIP next year. So if we can get that generator tank replacement and just generator, man, that's $500,000 right there we can put back on the books. So server room with the police station, real-time cry center. Going to IT projects, if you want to scroll down. This is how we fund our PC and laptop replacements. So again, if you see a jump on IT's budget, that is why. Datrium server, That's one that was supposed to get done last year. We moved it to this year, and I believe Charles is making some good headway related to that project. And then the bottom section, we have one line item for road improvements. And then under that, we have to break it down from an accounting perspective to the different projects. You can see the sidewalks going on right now in Ocean, that CIP. We had a pivot. I'm not gonna go into the details, scrolling down on all the surfacing projects, because that's the latter part of my presentation. Any questions on 302?
I'm not seeing any questions from my colleagues, but
All right.
just please proceed in the meantime.
Awesome. We can close it out. I'm done on that, actually, on that side of it. You want to pull up the presentation again, Manny? Okay. And if you have any questions, when you see the email us and the team, we'll get you guys an answer. Some highlights. I can't tell you how excited the team is for this Hester Center project. I mean, this is what you call a legacy project. Really gonna, define our city and what we bring to our community. And again, I'd be remiss if I don't talk about everyone involved in this project, from procurement to finance, administration, feedback from the public, from the elected body, our project managers, our engineers. I mean, this is all hands on deck. And whenever we get frustrated with contractors and there's been some delays, we just go out there and see what this is gonna be, and it gets us all excited. So estimated completion, we had some delays. So we're thinking June 2024, and we padded that, it might be done a little bit earlier, but we said June 2024. We're still dealing with supply chain issues, and we had some electrical issues moving some electrical components because we are getting a new bathroom and concession stand for this project. And that was supposed to be phase 2 of the project, but that field looks too good to have an old concession building. So that was an executive decision. We get a new concession for Hester Center. And it's gonna be a premier sport venue for the city. Additional parking, and as I said earlier, a new concession stand with bathrooms. All right. So that's the CIP portion of the presentation. I will be updating everyone quarterly as it relates to the projects. If you want to see things in a different format, let me know, but that was just the overall gist with Excel sheet that we put into the PDF to go over each project. So we're going to talk about road enhancements, some of the completed projects, some of the current projects, and just a recap of where we're at all together. And this is a combination of both CIP and ARPA. Some meetings ago, our commission elected to use our funds for road paving, and I just want to give a quick update on where we're at with road paving. Okay, selection dynamics, road rating, A through F. Keep in mind, I should have put A+ to F-, because that's the scale of when we start paving streets. Ideally, we want to get to a point where we're paving C-. So you're not going to pave an A or a B or C+. We start paving C-. I can tell you right now in the city, there are no F roads that have not been accounted for. They're not somewhere in the mix. Case in point, Sandcastle. A lot of that community has F roads. But we're not going to pave there if we have a big multi-million-dollar project. It doesn't make sense to spend millions of dollars paving roads for then 2 years later to go in and dig them up again to take care of the utility. But there are no F roads that we have not taken care of. So that's thank you to the team for making that happen. Thank you guys for the support. We're working on the Ds and hopefully, bring our GPA up a little bit. So a little bit about our roads. And forgive me, I said road paving. It's road enhancements. It is connectivity. It is implementing mobility. We have a mobility plan, adding bike lanes, sidewalks, traffic calming measures. I will say, I have a presentation in a couple of, probably the next 2 months of some software that we got. And it's basically, it can track traffic counts and speed from satellite data. So we can go in and look at neighborhoods. One of the ones we did was actually Forest Park. What was the average speed limit prior to speed humps and after speed humps? We've worked with the police department to let them know we can actually see what are the hot spots in the city and just using data to make our decisions. One of the things that we run into, and this happens a lot, people are like, hey, this person's speeding. And it's like, unless you're have a laser gun looking at it. That's when you can tell they're speeding. Standing by yourself, you see a car going 20 miles an hour, it looks like it's going 50. So anyway, we do road improvements throughout the city. Traffic calming, sidewalks, ADA compliance, bike lanes, connectivity. One of the negative things of the road paving program that we're doing, if the road is nice and there's no speed humps and it's well lit and it's well marked, you get additional speeding. That's what do they call it, an externality of road paving. You start seeing that negative effect where more people are using the roads and people are driving faster. So we're definitely looking at more traffic calming initiatives, i.e. roundabouts, speed humps is a popular one, and these are the things that slow, obviously, people down. Some of the selection dynamics, this is every district, District 1, 2, 3, 4, and the total lane linear feet in each respective district. These are city roads in each respective district. So District 1 has 15% of city roads. The majority of the roads are either private roads in gated communities or county roads. District 2, and what we started seeing is east of 95 is where you have a lot of city-owned roads. West of 95 is their county and private roads. So that plays a part. It's a component of our overall selection criteria. But 15.5% for District 1, 37.69% for District 2, 34.65% for District 3, and 12.16% for District 4. And that totals up your 100% of city-owned roads, okay? All right, here's a fun one. And apologies, I'm kind of a data geek, so I like pulling all that stuff up. So 2019, you can see the same number from before, 1.2 lane linear feet in every single district. So look at the A roads. If you look at the second column, it says A roads in 2019. Those are the A roads in every respective district. I'm not gonna go over the linear feet, I'm gonna go over the percentage. 13% District 1, 6% District 2, 19% District 3, and 14% District 4. Now, keep in mind, you have to take this percentage and juxtapose that to my first slide, which shows the actual city-owned streets. Look where we're at now. As of right now, we were 13% in District 1, now we're at 20. District 2 was at 6% A roads, now it's at 22. District 3 was at 19%, it went up 1%, it's at 20% now. District 4, 14%, and it's now at 21%. So that is the amount of roads that are now A roads in the city. So I just want to boast on that. Thank you guys for your service and promoting that. Now, the last slide, we're not done with all of our road paving projects. So there's a plethora of projects throughout the whole city. Once we're done with everything, and that's Gulfview Harbor, Chapel Hill, Cherry Hill, Meadows. We still have what I spoke about earlier, the southeast 36th Street, the Gulf, Complete Streets, Sandcastle. When we're done, I want to go over these percentages again. But we're looking at District 1. You were at 13% in 2019. When we're done with our projects, you're going to be at 32%. District 2 was at 6% A roads, and it's going to be at 47% A roads. District 3, 19% A roads, and now you're going to be at 32% when we're done with these projects. And then finally, District 4, 14%, and 31% when these projects are finished. So I don't know, that's a round of applause. Thank you guys, the engineers, for making that happen. So you want to see some data and metrics as it relates to A roads and infrastructure in the city? There it is. And we're not stopping there. That's just for 2024. We still have not put in for our 2025 projects. So we anticipate over 50% of the roads in the city will be A-rated roads. So some of the completed projects, Boynton Lakes Boulevard, Southwest 8th Street, Boynton Beach Extension, Meadows Road, Meadows Way Road, and apologies for I have the colors there, but you can see what we did was just tie the funding source to each respective project. At the end of the day, that's more for us behind the scenes from a financial component. Ultimately, we want the roads getting paved, and that's everything on the books this year for roads. Success story of some of our team members. And this was, again, collaboration from our project managers and from our engineers. We went out to bid for the Boynton Beach extension. There was some delays. Bid came back at $1.7 million, and that was without the force main. We figured we'd go back out again with the force main and try to get things to combine and be more efficient. That bid came back at $5.1 million, $3.7 million without the force main. We just didn't have that funding unless we cancel other projects within the CIP. So my team took it in-house. They were essentially the general contractors for the city. They did a lot of coordinating, and the project ended up costing us $818,000 by doing it in-house. So kudos to the team for saving money and taking on this initiative. And that's just some of the projects. Oh, and we also built a dog park in there as well. So thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Sorry if I'm going, any questions thus far? We're good? All right. So other completed projects, Meadows Boulevard, Phase 1. Meadows Way, Phase 1, Southwest 8th Street, I believe is in Punch-Out. And then we also took care of Northeast 11th, 12th, 13th, and Railroad Avenues. All right, current projects. Chapel Hill Road, we estimate completion March 2024. Cherry Hill neighborhood, and that's Commissioner Hay, the highlighted area. One thing I forgot to mention as we do our projects, we have been, it's a very interesting relation between us and utilities. Prior to us touching anything, we have to get utilities' blessing. We will not touch a street or a project if there's any kind of underground utility work being done in the next 5 years. You can see what these projects are coming in at. We don't want to spend, $2-3 million on a project, cause that disruption. And for the most part, we have gotten nothing but great reviews. Everyone is happy, but it's a disruption. There's cones, there's barriers, there's detours, but people are happy because they know that their streets are getting paved. We don't want to do that and then have to do it again 5 years later. That's not a good spend of money. So as we select these projects, it's a lot with Dr. Calcutt's blessing that they don't have any utility work, or we're reactive to her projects. Whenever they have a project going on, any kind of utility work, then it will come in and do the paving. We figure if we're gonna disrupt, let's go big disrupting, but we get it done and we don't have to worry about it for the next 10 years. So Cherry Hills, that's the northern section. There is no utility work going on there, so we're clear to pave. They do have a force main on 3rd, I believe, but they can work around from our paving. The southern part, the southwestern part by the elementary school, many of these communities were built 50 years ago to the standards of 50 years ago. That is not only a paving project, that is an underground utility project, and that it's just bringing it up to today's standards. Bike lanes, sidewalks. There may be an opportunity to access even more right-of-way to do more traffic calming measures throughout that community. The quick way to do it is just, let them do their underground engineering and we'll do a quick pave and keep everything status quo, but we don't want to do that. We want to bring that community up to standards. And this is a dynamic that's going on throughout the country. You have many of these neighborhoods that were built early 50s, 40s, 60s, and now we're trying to bring them to today's standards with, many of the traffic controls we have now. So to answer your question, Commissioner Hay, Cherry Hill that northern section should be completed by April 2024. We're working on that as we speak. Starting by April 2024. Anticipate 3 to 4 months as it gets done. I always like putting an asterisk because we make the best guesstimate and estimation based off the geotechnical and the survey that we have at the time. That's all estimates and forecasting. Once you start opening up that roads, you might have base failures that need additional repairs, but we anticipate anywhere from 3 to 4 months. So Cherry Hills, neighborhood, Phase 1. Phase 2, we're about 2 years away because it's just extensive, and I don't want to take Poonam's thunder, but extensive utility work to be done in the community. All right. Gulf View Harbor, I'm excited about that one. We have Phase 2 of Meadows neighborhoods. And then we also have, that should be done by July, August. We have Lake Boynton Estates, which even though that project is going to be starting July, August, the team has been working on it, I think, since last year, going out there, just the engineering, doing their calculations with the drainage. If you want Mosey to give his analysis on drainage, he's more than welcome to come up here and talk about it. Lakeshore Haven Canal Bridge, that's going to go out to bid for the design of that bridge. And then that's the survey I was telling you about, Commissioner Hay, for Cherry Hills neighborhood. And that's just initiating the process to kind of see the condition of the roads and where we have the right-of-way and what we can and cannot do. You know, because we're looking at the big picture, sidewalks, roundabouts, traffic calming. Sandcastle neighborhood, that's the grant we got, doing a lot of engineering and a lot of our compliance with the grantor. We anticipate construction in 2026. Southeast First Street, construction 2024. My apologies, that was left off over there. And then we're working with City of Delray Beach and hopefully construction by 2025, and that's a joint venture between us and them to pave Southwest 36th and the Gulfstream Boulevard on their side. East Ocean Ave, 6th Street, pedestrian crosswalk. We're doing designs for that one. I believe we have 3rd Street in the mix. Gulfstream Boulevard should be done by February 2025. And then we have our Boynton Beach Complete Streets 2027. Now, these are city-owned projects. DOT's doing projects as well within the city. The county has some projects going on, so there's just, I try to cram it all in one session, but I can talk about road paving for a good amount of time. Any questions on road paving on our upcoming projects? Yes.
Commissioner Cruz?
Thank you. Can we go specifically on where we're at? So for Chapel Hill, it says it's going to be completed in March of '24, so this month? Okay. And then for Cherry Hill, it's going to be completed April
Start April.
start.
Yeah, it's going to start in April.
So one of them means start, the other one means end?
Yeah, I should have clarified that. My apologies. Yeah. Chapel Hill is just about done. It was paved. We're doing,
Phase 1.
oh, which one? Oh, my bad. Paving for Cherry Hill starts Monday. Should be done by April. Sorry,
Okay.
great
So
question.
it's all
Thank you.
completion dates?
Yeah,
Okay. Just
sorry.
trying to-
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I got the team here.
The reason why I'm asking that question is because we've had conversations, or I've had conversations with staff, where I've been told that my district is getting paved, you know, between March and June. And now we're saying July and August. So every time I have a conversation, it appears that we're like moving.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm advocating for my district, so, you know, I'm trying to figure out, like, it's great that we do it in all districts as well, but why is it that the west side of the city appears to be getting done in July, August, when I've been told that it was gonna get done in June, and these other projects are being completed? Like, where are we at specifically with the Gulfview Harbor? Like,
Yeah,
can
no.
you walk me through where we're at right now with
Valid
that?
question. Totally understand where you're coming from. That project in particular, has more engineering work behind the scenes for drainage. And then in working with utilities, they have other utility projects going on in the neighborhood. So it was a combination of saying, okay, which streets can we do? We are going to do the streets that we mentioned. We were trying to get additional roads as well, but we can't do those because of the engineering. That project, we are working with finance. It is literally, I think, set to go out to bid in the next, I want to say 2 weeks, so it goes out to bid, because that's using ARPA funds. We have to go out to bid for those projects. So that goes out to bid. It'll be out to bid 3-4 weeks.
Did we use ARPA funding for the Chapel Hill and Cherry Hill?
Some of those, we use CIP funding. Some we use CIP funding, some we use ARPA funding. Depending on the scope of the project, if we can knock it out pretty fast and there was not too much engineering, we can go in and use CIP funding. And then for the ARPA funding for Gulfview in particular, we just have to go out to bid, and those are just the dynamics of the ARPA bid. So the ARPA grant, so we're anticipating 3 to 4 weeks going out to bid, bring it back here, get your guys' approval, just our formal process. And then once we give the PO to the vendor, I always add a little more date because things go wrong. But I anticipate, we're still there for June, but I'd rather
Yeah.
overpromise, but it's on our books. Just because it hasn't started construction-wise, doesn't mean we haven't worked on it. We're doing the engineering. One of the things, I think we have 3 project managers. So whenever they're paving, I have to have a project manager there. So I can't, it's difficult to have 2 projects, 3 projects at the same time, and have a person there. So it was absolutely nothing against the west side of your district. I was there at the Gulfview Harbor, that town hall, so I'm excited to bring that collectively to the residents there, because that's one thing they voiced. But rest assured, we're not doing just what we said, we're adding more. We just had to scale it back and start phasing it, simply because there's more utility work in there. But that is at finance, going out to bid.
So it's going out to bid in 3 weeks. Then
2 to
it'll
3
come
weeks.
back to commission. And then when do we expect the project to start? Because the other 2 projects are basically being completed, which is great. But, when can we actually start the
Let me
project?
pick on Kevin. Kevin, you here? Let me get my pro up here.
Here's the rhyme and reason for road work of this year. All right, this is how it went down. We had Chapel Hill, Cherry Hill, Meadows Boulevard, Meadows Way. That all came out of CIP because that was absolute quick and we could do that quickly and get started. My whole process of building roads is I want to build them before Christmas. I really do, every one of them, because it's off-season. I get hotter asphalt. It's a better road like Meadows Way. And the public side, that's their last quarter. So they're hungry to make those big profits at the end of the year, which is our beginning of the year, right? So we started planning these projects in June, July. We bid in August. We secured the POs early within the first 2 weeks of October, and those jobs took off. Gulfview Harbor, Boynton Lake Boynton Estates, those are more intense projects. So we started designing those once those jobs were starting to take off. So our intent and our purpose, we were told in a meeting a few months back that we could never do $6 million worth of work, of road work. I think we're at 7.
Yeah.
Very shortly, by summer, we hit 7
What
million.
do you think is
So
for Gulfview once it starts?
Gulfview, once it goes through the procurement process, it's gonna be a process. So we'll probably start in June.
Okay.
Gulfview Harbor is gonna be a fairly quick job, probably 30 days, 45 days max. So you'll be done before school starts back, roughly, okay? And then phase 2 of that will go in next year and all that.
Yeah,
So
and-
same with Lake Boynton Estates. That one's gonna run through into Christmas time, because it's just this massive neighborhood.
But I always say, if we run into something, like I said, they start turning up that road, it's gonna be a paving, and then you have base structures. We just wanna repair it right. But rest assured, it's on our priority to get it all done.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure that we're taking care of all sides of the city, and we're prioritizing all sides of the city equally.
Yep.
Because, we should. So that was really my question, and I would like to get monthly updates on where we're at with this Gulfview Harbor paving and anything in my district. Because sometimes, I'll hear things, but then I won't really know what's going on. And then I'll hear stuff again, but then, the date changes, so
Yeah,
that's kind of my concern, the date of completion.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, thank you,
Kevin,
Commissioner.
You're gonna wanna stay. So, no, Commissioner Cruz, I definitely agree with you. And I think one thing, and I can definitely see your concern, but one thing that is very misleading about this map and your comments about the Chapel Hill project, only one of these roads were paved in Chapel Hill. So the whole project isn't done. This is a multi-phase project. And so from what I believe, this is all gonna go out first, and this project is gonna take quite some time because of the scope of work. And I had similar concerns with staff, why are we waiting so long? I get it, we're limited on resources, we're limited on project managers. So I just don't want you to be misled by this map, because Chapel Hill neighborhood has only had one road paved so far. And, I'll get with staff on the update for the next phase. They love it, so thank you so much. They're very excited. You guys are quick. I know it's not done yet, but the neighborhood loves it, and so kudos especially to you, Kevin. You know, you're always knocking it out of the park, but don't be misled by this map because that is not accurate. Only one road has been completed this month. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Do my colleagues, any other questions for Mario? All right, Mario, if you could just wrap it up.
All right. And then we have, so recap. Phase 1, we have Southwest 8th Street, Punch Out, Chapel Hill, Cherry Hill, Meadows Boulevard, Meadows Way, Boynton Lakes. Total project is approximately 2.9. Then we have Phase 2, Gulfview Harbor, Meadows Road enhancements, and again, Phase 1 of Gulfview Harbor, because we want to add finger streets while we're there. Lake Boynton Estates, so we're actually giving more than we had anticipated, and that's for every single project. Lake Boynton Estates is, it's just very intensive, their draining issues they had over there. Water is the #1 killer of roads. When you have water laying on the street, it diminishes significantly the life of the road. So our intention is to get the water off the road, either to a swale or to a pervious area where the water can percolate and work its way down. So Lake Boynton Estates, we have the loop there, which is on Southwest 8th. We're adding that loop street. That was an additional project that we added after the fact. We have Ocean Boulevard as well, things that we're just adding after the fact. So anyway, Phase 2 is $3.5 million. Overall, $7.1 million in road enhancements. Phase 1, 2.9, Phase 2, 3.5. Estimated savings, we anticipate to have about a $600,000 savings for roads. I put double asterisks on that one simply because as things come up. If we are, Gulfview is a great example of, you know, we identified 2 main streets and some side streets, but there's so many fingerlings in that neighborhood. We're already there. We're already causing disruption. If Poonam's okay with it and there's no utility work, we'll do a couple more streets while we're there, and that'll diminish the projects that we have for Phase 2. So rest assured, it's on our list. I will email you and text you monthly, weekly if needed, because I'm also excited to get that project done. Okay, just to recap. CIP, that's what we're
Mario,
spending. Yes.
2 more minutes.
Yep, that's what we're spending. Sorry about that. Yeah, try to cram it all into one. That's the recap for CIP. We're going to need about anywhere from $4 to $5 million for CIP, and that's the breakdown for CIP projects.
Okay, perfect.
Look at that.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Mario while he's still up here? Anything else?
Thank you for the update, Mario.
All right, thank you. You did a great job. Thank
All right,
you.
thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next portion of the agenda, which is public audience. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes per person.
Mayor?
Yes.
I apologize.
Sure, go ahead.
We did have 2 additional presentations here. Myrna has a update on the grants as well as an update from CIP on utilities. If if we're running long, we can delay the utility portion if you'd like. If we can at least do the Myrna's update for the grants, I'd like to get that one done if we could.
All right, now let me ask, can you do that in 15 minutes or less?
I think so. I think her
that
presentation
achievable?
is
Okay,
much shorter.
let's do that. And you said there's another one on top of that.
For utilities is doing their CIP as well.
Okay.
So that one will be a little bit lengthier. Poonam, do you think, how long do you think?
What's your expectation, Dr. Kalkat? Let me ask my colleagues, are you all comfortable?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. We're hearing the presentations.
So 2 15 minutes max, so 30 minutes max for both
Okay.
of them.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable with this, unless I can be assured that it's going to be 10 minutes or less, okay? We just seem to be pushing public orders and the rest of this agenda further and further back with additions, okay? So I want to move on with the agenda, and so we just spent almost an hour, okay, on this item, and I don't want to go through that again. I really don't. So get up here, say what you got to say, and thank you, okay? Can we do that? Okay.
All right, Commissioner Kelly, your thoughts? Are you comfortable with 10 minutes each? Okay. All right. So Commissioner Hay, did I understand you correctly? 10 minutes each?
Yeah,
Okay.
10 minutes.
And listen, if we need to come back, we can always come back at a future meeting, all right?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. I'm Myrna Cronto, the new Grants Manager, and I'm happy to be here tonight. I would like to start the presentation. There you go. I would like to start the presentation by give you a quick snapshot of the importance of grant funding and the positive effect in our CIP. Of the approximately 127 million, 28 million comes from grant funding. That is at 22% of the CIP total. Now let's take a closer look at the details of our CIP grants. There you go. The CIP grants total funding is approximately 28 million. We have 13 grants, 9 federal, 2 state, and 2 from other type of funding, such as local and foundation. These grants include our 2 largest grants. We have the San Castle Neighborhood Improvements from the Community Development Grant Mitigation Program, a federal pass-through that gave us 16.5 grant funding. And the East Water Treatment Generator from the Community Development Grant Mitigation Program, another federal pass-through straight grant with $2.1 million in funding. This slide is about our recent closed grant, the Hester Center, Leeds NFL. The grant funded the renovation of the filter and the Hester Center, and we have some pictures regarding the final project. Grants in process. We got awarded the Emerging Contaminants Drinking Water State Revolving Fund loan with a funding request of $5.167 million. It is awarded, but it's in the process because we're waiting for the agreement to be signed. Okay? Submitted application for CIP projects. We submitted the state appropriations on November 23. We submitted 6 projects, 911 Communication Center Generation Replacement with a funding request of $600,000. The Boynton Beach Fire Rescue EOC Improvements with a funding request of $400,000. The Harvey Oyer Fishing Pier with a funding request of $800,000. Neighborhood Connectivity Project Sky Lake with a funding request of $1 million approximately. The Pioneer Canal Boat Ramp Improvements with a funding request of $564,000 approximately. And Lakeshore Bridge Canal Project with a funding request of $1,182,132. That was around a total funding request of $4.6 million back in November. And the last slide is our upcoming CIP project applications. So we approximately in the next few months, we're gonna apply for around $2 million. We are applying for the Florida Boating Improvement Program grant for the Pioneer Canal Boat Ramp with a funding request of $816,000. The Waterways Assistance Program for the Police and Fire Dock and Lift with a funding request of $125,000 that will be submitted on April 1st. The Energy Efficient Community Block Grant with a funding request of $134,000, and that's going to be submitted in April 30th. And Safe Streets for All Grants as an action plan with a funding request up to $1 million. That will be submitted in May 16 of 24. And thank you so much. Do you have any questions? And I think I did it in 10 minutes.
You did it in less than 10 minutes.
Good, I think
Thank
less
you.
than 5.
You did,
Thank you.
and you have time to spare. I do have one quickie here. You mentioned
course.
something about emerging contaminants in the drinking water.
Yes.
Would you kind of elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yes, and actually, I know Utilities is gonna talk about the project per se, but we got a funding request of $5 million. It's for design and planning for the East Water Treatment Plant. And,
Should I be concerned here? What's happening?
no, yeah, she had the details of the project.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Poonam Kalkat, Utilities Director. Yes, that grant is basically for planning and design for emerging contaminants like PFOS and PFAS that are coming up, that are going to be drinking water requirements from EPA. They're setting a standard, and we want to make sure that we have designed the plant to meet those requirements. So we're going to be doing some evaluations and options for treatment as to what's needed and what we need to do to meet those requirements.
Okay, so we're being proactive here then?
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Dr. Kalkat,
Right.
just focus on the main ideas, and this board can always ask questions thereafter.
Absolutely. This is just showing you a total capital improvement program with around $121 million, and there are some broad categories of projects there. We'll talk a little bit more about these projects as I go along. So water supply and treatment projects, these are some of these projects. I'm just listing these projects. I can go through any of these projects or talk about these more in detail, but there are some projects that are looking at repairs, other projects that are putting in improvements. We are remodeling a water quality facility. There is a generator replacement project at the east plant, and at the west plant, we are looking at in the next few years to replace the membranes, which is the treatment facility there on the west side. And some of the current phases and project completion dates are on there. So if it says 2024, it's this year, obviously, 2025. We're doing design and construction, but we might be bidding in procurement now and finishing it in 2025 and so on and so forth. Here's some examples of some of these projects. And again, like Mario said, I don't do this alone. Obviously, we have a big team. We have project managers and project engineers. And Keith Weber is here. He's our Assistant Director for Engineering. We also have Milo Amel here. He's our Engineer 4. And so he and his team, and you'll see the names of the project managers here because I do want to recognize how much effort they put in. So I just wanted to make sure that you all know them because a lot of times utility projects are really out of sight. So people don't realize what's happening. They're not as obvious. Sometimes it's within the facilities and so on and so forth. So this is one project that Joel Lacroze is project manager for, and we're replacing some VFDs, which are the variable frequency drives. They help make pumps work more efficiently, and you save energy. And there's a couple of other elements in there in this project. So that'll add redundancy and efficiencies. Some of the neighborhood projects, and you might have seen some of these projects in previous updates because we're doing quarterly updates, and these projects they're multi-year projects, so you'll see them come up again and again until we finish them. Lakeside Gardens project is an ongoing construction right now, and we plan on finishing it this year. Central Seacrest utility improvements, that's design is complete, but we're working on getting that project started. Coquina Cove is a grant project where we're asking for a little bit more money because the bids came up higher, and we think we should be able to procure more money for that. Heart of Boynton neighborhood improvements, it's in planning stages, and we are, again, looking for money for this, so we've applied for grants, and we are hoping that we'll be able to get grants for this. Sandcastle, you heard Mario talk about that one already. Here are some of the examples of some of those projects. This is Lakeside Gardens improvement, and the project manager is Jose Huertas. And when it says it's a neighborhood improvement projects, you will have water, wastewater, as well as drainage improvements in there. So this project was mainly a drainage project, and then we added some sewer components to this. Coquina Grove Drainage Improvement Project, the project manager is Eduardo Garcia. And as I said, we've expanded this project to make sure that we are doing everything for water as well as wastewater, though it's more of a drainage project. And we are coordinating with FPL and FPU for providing gas lines. And the only coordination we do is we try to time it together with them and work with them. So this is another one of those projects we were able to do more of a synergistic view. collection system improvement projects. They're listed here. There are some force main projects. The one that we completed already, that was the Boynton Beach extension. Silverwood Force Main is a project that's just getting completed. We're just doing tie-ins. We have a septic to sewer project for town of Hypoluxo. That town had a grant, and we are helping them complete that project because that is our sewer collection system area. We also have lift stations 410 and 414 connections. There's an oceanfront beach park, and there's a master lift station 317. That's a major upgrade that we're doing, that we're working on. The lift station 410, 414 Force Main Extension project, the project manager is Milo Amel, and he's here today too to just give us support and just showcase what all they're doing. So this project is for Force Main Extension because we are seeing some surcharges in those manholes. So we know that we need to improve the collection systems in this area. So that's a project that we're working on. Some of the stormwater and drainage improvement projects, we are just finishing up the watershed master plan. There's Lakeshore Haven Canal Bridge that Mario talked about just a few minutes ago. We also have Chapel Hill Stormwater Improvement Project, and Quantum Lakes, we have an ongoing project with just looking at condition assessment and fixing pipes and whatever else is needed in that neighborhood. Some of the studies and master planning efforts that we are doing. This is the East Water Treatment Plant, the emerging contaminant study that we are going to be doing and designing what options we should be working through and then go through construction. We also are completing grant strategy and development, even though it's ongoing. We actually finished a project to at least get a strategy for how should we go about these grants. SCADA cybersecurity. We're doing a risk analysis. I talked about that a couple of weeks ago. And then we have asset management roadmap project going on too. So that's about it. I try to keep it under 10. But if there are questions, I can bring it back or I can talk one-on-one later.
All right, thank you so much. We do have some time, and any questions from my colleagues?
Just one.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Punan, is Joel and Jose and Aguado, is this something that they're in conjunction with Doug Levine from Wastewater Management?
No, usually those projects, Doug's projects are mostly within the fence line, and our projects outside. We always work with him, so he knows what we are doing.
Okay.
If there are going to be any impacts, and we sit down and talk through any lift station projects that might impact him, we talk to him. But these projects usually don't impact him except for if we are going to be bypassing or there's something construction-wise going on that, so he's aware of it.
Gotcha. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Seeing nothing else from my colleagues, thank you so much, Dr. Calcott, for your presentation. We appreciate it. All right, and that concludes the 3 presentations that we moved up. We're now moving on to public audience. I just want to remind everybody, 3 minutes per person. After we conclude those in the chambers, we're going to go to those online. This is not a Q&A, but our staff and the members of the commission are taking notes. 1 second for the timer. State your name for the record and begin when you're ready. Go ahead.
Susan Oyer, Boynton Beach. First of all, I want to say thank you, Mario, for noticing that beautification matters, because I've been screaming about that for years now. You're not the first commission, nor am I guessing will you be the last. I think I've been deficient in my observations. I was at Sim Center for a community meeting last week, and I noticed on Northwest 11th Avenue that the lights, the street lights, are like a funky shade of blue. And maybe it's my contacts, maybe I was tired, I don't know. They looked blue and purplish. And when I looked around the neighborhood, they didn't look like all the rest of the lights. The rest of the lights are the normal street light, sort of warm white color. So I'm wondering why that block area near Sims is a different color lighting. And I bring this up because when I sat on P&D for a few years, I got the codes changed, and it came up under the last commission, and they approved it. I think it was before you, Mayor. But there's proof that the blue-white lights cause cancer. There's a correlation. And it was all over CNN at the time, and I brought it forward and got the codes changed here in the city of Boynton Beach. So maybe you guys have changed the codes back, or I don't know what's going on, but I'm wondering why this one specific block on Northwest 11th over by Sims has these lights that maybe I'm seeing them incorrectly. I've reached out to 3 people today to see if they've noticed it. I don't know, but I think it's something worth looking at, why this community is being targeted with, you know, lights that are potentially causing cancer. Warm white is the way to go. That's why I got the codes changed. So I don't know. Maybe you did change them back. I don't know. I want to also ask what's going on Woolbright. I noticed that they're doing the pipe project out to the water treatment plant. My charity, St. George's Society of Palm Beach, and me personally donated thousands of dollars since you guys use community greening, and they're $227 per tree. And we planted 37 trees out there. What's happening with all those trees that are being, you know, picked up, moved, whatever's going to go happen with them? So I want someone to know that I'm paying attention to those trees because they cost me $227 a piece. Because you guys don't use Indian Trails, which is like $10 a piece for a tree. You use community greening at $227. So I think maybe we should be staying on top of those trees. My group donated, there were 37 flowering trees. Maybe you want to reallocate them to further along the canal or closer to the canal, but I certainly hope nothing's going to happen to them, or you are, you know, replacing all those trees that, you know, my group and I have paid for. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. All right, next person, state your name for the record. Begin when you're ready.
Harry Woodworth, Boynton Beach, Florida. I just wanted to comment on last night's meeting at Sterling Village, which I got invited to at the last minute. Talking fast to use my time. That was awesome. I mean, I don't know who set that up, whether Butch did or whether you guys did, but it was really refreshing to see 200-plus people sitting there, had to get out extra chairs to participate in the pre-decision-making process of things that would affect most of those people for the rest of their lives. Haven't seen a lot of that in Boynton lately, and that was refreshing, and I just wanted to compliment the people that put that together, and I think y'all are thinking that, and there's more of it coming, I hope. Maybe tie that to the strategic planning that I see has been moved to be determined. It would be nice if the people affected by all of the things in the strategic plan and whatever we're building here with all the materials we've assembled and resources the city has, people will embrace what they understand and know about. I think as you found out, not so much the things they don't know about that just drop out of the sky on them, and then you get a bunch of kids in Little League uniforms standing around for months. So maybe we could bring more of that to the party. That is really, really refreshing stuff, and people want to participate, I think, as you saw last night as they got out an extra 50 chairs. The other thing I learned last night, and just real quick, Susan mentioned it, was Dan had mentioned he was looking for some money for some beautification. Long overdue. I think there's 30 years of Inca notes that say, please, 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 please clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. Looks matter. You know, aesthetics are probably one of the top 1 or 2 things that successful cities have going for them. Looks do matter, and we have been a long ways down that for so long. Please give the man the money and let's start cleaning some of this stuff up. It's low-hanging fruit. Citizens would come out by the hundreds with bags to help you. Please fund that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next speaker. We do have 2 podiums.
Hello, my name is Donald Tark. I live in Gulfview Harbor. I can't wait till the streets get redone. I read this 31-page report on the firing of our former HR director, and I've noticed that there's a few members of the diocese that are still endorsing this person for their run for the city of Delray Beach. I would like you guys to withdraw your recommendation. One person already has. I think if somebody that was inappropriate city of your resources, time, or equipment, outside employment which interferes with our performances, unauthorized personnel, use of city equipment or funds, conducting personal business on city time, and falsifying documentations. I think a person that was found in this report, and I'm sure you all read it, I think you should withdraw your recommendations for her, what she's running for in Delray Beach. I don't know when the appropriate time would be during this meeting, but I would love to hear you publicly say that you are withdrawing your recommendations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next person on my left, your right.
Hello, my name is Nafi Kabir. Today I'd like to bring up the matter of the street situation on South Circle Drive. There is 19 houses on South Circle Drive, I'm not sure if you're aware, and almost all, if not all of the resident owners of the homes on those street have been making replacements for their pavers because of several accidents that have taken place on the street that have unfortunately costed some of the residents there, my family included, thousands of dollars in damage because of drunk drivers not being able to safely travel on the street. And the street is a narrow street. So in order to take a precaution against this happening ever again, we've been widening our driveways in order to be able to park our cars in a safer manner. Unfortunately, it seems like we've hit a road bump with the city commission because most of the residents of the South Circle Drive have been receiving papers about the papers being against building codes. And it appears that we are not allowed to apparently put pavers on our own property that we have paid for and commission contractors to make sure that we are doing things within city limits and the city's constraints. So I wanted to bring up this issue so that we could get this addressed and hopefully find a compromise for the residents and the city commission to hopefully be able to extend our driveways so that our vehicles are safer on the street. Because the South Circle Drive street is so narrow that it is a one-car way. If one car is coming down the street, another car cannot park the way. They have to reverse down the entire block. So that's just taking into consideration the type of situation we're dealing with on this street. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next person.
Hi, my name's Jackie Mond, and I wanted to remind you that as of January 1st, all government employees who have to fill out a financial form called Form 6, which requires the personal finance disclosure to the dollar. All commissioners, mayors, and everybody are supposed to fill that out, and it's supposed to be public notice, and we're supposed to be able to see that. Also, I'd like to tell you that we do not want a mayorship. We want a commission, the commissioners, to be as our people's voice. So we do not want them to be put out that they cannot vote for we, the people. And the 5G towers need to be removed in our city. They are very harmful. They cause cancer. The rainbow flag needs to be removed immediately. It's illegal. It's illegal across Florida, and there are rules that we have to follow, and that is one that we, the people, want removed. We want the 666 benches removed and the Black Lives Matter fist that's down the street right here, and the two faces of evil removed. When we bring our children, and our grandchildren to the Boynton Beach, to the festivities that you do here, they are privy to demonic things because of that, and it needs to be removed. We also want the Public Works Director to do a financial, that with all the information he just showed us for a very long time, it was very obnoxious. To sit there and listen to all that, but what he didn't show us is where all the money is going. He said, this is the money in here, but we don't see it like in the people's pockets where it's going or the businesses, and we should be privy to that because it is our money. And you know, what she was saying about the blue lights, that's true, the purple lights, they do cause cancer and they need to be removed as well. And we need to, you know, work on that. And I'm still against the big statue going on Congress, and we, the people, do not want that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next speaker.
Cindy Falco di Carrata, Boynton Beach. I heard some disturbing news, and it really was perplexing to me. I heard that once a month on a Thursday at the Colony in the West Palm Beach area, many of our government officials meet at the Colony Hotel, and that there has been some sexual activity going on, and with the higher ups such as our Dave Ehrenberg, some people on the dais here, and many other dignitarians, not dignitarians, but officials such as Joe Casello, Justin Katz, and many others. Now, I don't know, but I'm sorry, if you're drinking and you're having sexual activities, wouldn't you be violating the Sunshine Law? Because you might be talking about things that should not be spoken about without being in a public. And this has been going on for a while, and they meet once a month on a Thursday. It really is disheartening, it's sickening, it's an abomination, it's a spit in our faces. And it's got to cease and desist, and it's wrong on every level, and you know it, and I'm not pointing out anybody. In regards also to having a person on the dais that's supporting somebody who was fired for crimes, and there's a picture of that person with the Boynton Beach logo. So it gives a message that the city of Boynton Beach is standing behind a candidate who was found criminally doing crimes against we the people by violations of using machines, computers, and running for a candidacy in Delray. There's also another picture of someone on the dais that is with a group of people, and it's with the Victory Funding, and that person had stated when they were running for a certain position, and I'm trying not to point anybody out, but you know who you are, that you said that you wanted to support that and you wanted to see more LGBTQ, LMNOPQ people in office. And as I was reading looking back on their website, they basically stated that they want all LGBTQ, or they're going to promote more LGBTQ, whatever the acronyms are, to run for office and to be sitting in seats, and they said, and they're going to win. So now we're going to have people in positions on their sexual preference, as opposed to whether or not they are skilled, qualified for the position. And this is disheartening to me. And this was written up, and I saw it, and I have the article here, and I also have pictures of those who are with candidates supporting them, and we have someone on the dais supporting a gentleman that's running for a seat in Delray also, and he's with the LGBTQ2, allegedly the Victory people, and this is what's going on. And the American people need to know that you don't need any more skills anymore. It's just about your sexual preference, and only a certain sexual preference. Now, they talk about that being diversity, but what that really is divide. And it's creating hate, and it's creating a division. It's evil, it's ugly, and it's an abomination, and it needs to stop. Thank you.
Eric Party of Delray. I don't know if we're still talking about that statue that you want to put up there, but I noticed there's a rainbow flag painted right on your street, right at the corner there. I could throw a rock to it. Now, this trans nonsense has been confusing our children and our society to the point, that we have the DEI who are hiring teachers, sexually confused teachers, to sexually confuse our children. Now, we've already seen over the last 3 years reports of school shootings that were done by trans people, sexually confused people. This sexual confusion is leading to mental illness. And there's two genders. And if you think there's more than two genders, you are not only going against science, you are going against God. There are two genders at birth. Reach between your legs and find them. They're there at birth, unless you change them. But this is really, it's disturbing our children's minds. It's disturbing our society, it's disturbing our culture, and it's destroying everything in creation. There's two genders. Now, we've already seen all this consequences due to sexual confusion. It's not illegal to be L or G or B or T or Q, but I think it should be illegal to force it down our children's throats and force it on our society. Look at the damage it's done. I can get arrested if I call somebody the wrong pronoun. It's doing nothing but causing more sexual confusion. I'm sexually confused. I don't even know who I'm looking at anymore. There's two genders. and you're just confusing our children, causing them to be mentally ill, just because you have teachers who can't figure out what they are. They're sexually confused, so they're sexually confusing our children. And I think it's wrong. It's causing division, and your little Black Lives Matter fist out there, you know, all lives matter. All lives matter. And all students call division. So this DEI is starting to stand for division, exclusion, and ignorance. Thank you.
All right. Last call for in-person public comment speakers, then we have to go to those online. All right, state your name for the record and begin when you're ready.
Tennille DeCosti, how are you? Ignorance at your best. So I'm not criminally charged with anything. An investigation was completed by a biased person who happened to be a friend of our city, of the city attorney of the Boynton Beach. Let's be real when you look, and I send each of you an email advising the loopholes of the investigation. First, city manager advised OIG that he didn't give me permission to attend an event. I showed the text message to the investigator when she asks me about it. Now, all of a sudden, he gave me permission. But you tell OIG or you show OIG something else. Another loophole, I went to a LGBTQ plus event, and I didn't so-called receive permission. But we forget our conversations. Text messages don't lie. One thing about me, I have 2 decades of being an HR director with no issues. I didn't wake up one morning like, oh, let me just violate all the policies. If you recall, city manager, when you and I met, when I was on admin leave, you clearly said out your mouth, the city attorney will not stop until you're gone. And you said it in front of somebody, so you can't deny it. Not only that, you gave me permission to attend numerous functions and then lie on an investigation and say that did not happen. We had a phone call the other day, and you blamed the city attorney for everything. As a city manager commission, you need to worry about your residents who you serve, the taxes that they pay, the liabilities that's coming to this city for a bias investigation. You have to be fair. And to be honest, to give you an example, with the investigator, when we sat down with my attorney, you know what she said? Do you expect me to believe a white male that's married to a black woman with 4 biracial children said that you're hiring too many black women? My attorney looked at me. He said, you ready to walk out? Because we know where this is going. That's just one example. I showed the investigator numerous text messages and proof that I did not do this, what they're saying. Guess what? She didn't put in the investigation, but we forget to tell that story. And what's really bad, this is personal. They're making decisions off emotions and not what's best for the residents that they serve. When you're leaking stuff, my investigation, to a newspaper, or sending it to other city managers, or sending it to the tax collector, why are they receiving a copy of my investigation from this city and it's not a public records request? Because for some reason, they're really trying to hurt me. This is a personal thing, and because I stand on my ethics and my 2 decades of perfect being an HR director, consequences and lies. When you lie, there's legal
3
consequences.
seconds.
And you need to take that consideration. You have the wrong person sitting up there and the wrong city attorney.
Your time has expired. Thank you. Next speaker.
My name is Clarence Shahid Freeman. I'm an education and civil rights activist. You know, when I listen to people talk, I'm 73 years old, and I have lived this disease called racism. You know, in 1970, Billy Graham gave a speech, Mr. Mayor, about racism. He said it was one of the worst diseases that has engulfed this nation called the United States. When we say we're one nation under God and all of that kind of monkey business. But what Billy Graham said stuck with me because it was like Dr. Martin Luther King was saying it, or Nelson Mandela. As long as you allow the disease to fester and you stay silent, it's going to always do its worst damages. But I'll tell you something, when things come about in a change, it happen in a mysterious way. Some of y'all go to church and talk about God and Jesus and all that monkey business. But when it comes to living your life, you allow racism to stand and people to say things and do things to people of color that we're not just going to be sitting in the bushes anymore and allowing it to happen. Now, I've been before this commission 2 times, and both times that I came, there were some serious problems here in Boynton Beach. The last time I was here, Mr. Mayor, your team did a great job of solving the CAR problem with the woman that was trying to collect her money. You made sure that happened. The time before that I was here, Mr. Hay, you remember when we had to clean out the police department, when they were doing all kind of evil and racist things in our community. Well, I'm here on the set to let you know. We're stopped fighting with the people in local, and God has blessed us to have someone that can deal with people that think they're untouchable, deal with people that think they can do anything to people of color and get away with it. Not on my watch. I'll die and go to hell before I allow what I heard happen in this city happen to 5, 6 employees just because a peck of wood want to keep Jim Crow alive. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Jim Crow may be alive, but the people of color are alive too. And God is looking at all of us. I tell you all something. It comes a time that you ought to look in the mirror and say, we have to stop this nonsense. And you all that believe in justice, freedom, and equality, you ought to stand up and show God that you believe it. We elect, people, see the ignorance?
Sir, please continue.
As soon as a person is accused of something without any type of evidence.
All right, sir, your time has expired. Thank you.
I just want you all to know that I'm headed to Washington.
All right,
and
sir.
we're coming back.
All right, thank you. Next public comment speaker, give me 1 second to reset the time. All right, 1 second, Mr. Dames. All right, I don't know what's going on over there, but I'm going to ask you guys to please discuss that outside so we can conduct our business, okay? Just discuss that outside. Officers, please remove this individual.
Don't stop! He's twisting my arm! Ouch! Let go of me! Why are you doing this to this person? Let go of me! Stop resisting. Let him let go of me!
She's disturbing the meeting. Take her out. Take her out. Take her out. Take her out. Stay out of it. Stay out of it.
You said nothing. You're just gonna get another one. You were quiet in your high seats saying nothing. He insulted that woman. Tell him. He wouldn't have grabbed the person of color and dragged him out of here. Have a good night. See, that's what I'm talking about.
All right, Mr. Dames, you may begin.
Wow. John Dames, Post Office Box 713, Boynton Beach, Florida, 33425. There's several issues that I want to bring to your attention concerning Ms. DeCoste. And I don't know, by just looking at all these allegations, and I don't know, and I'm pretty sure at some point she'll get an opportunity to prove her innocence. But just looking at all the allegations, what stands out to me, inappropriate use of city resources and unauthorized use of city funds. I've been in government for 35 years, okay? And you mean to tell me if if you have this much on her, unauthorized use of city funds, which I'm pretty sure at some point she was issued a city credit card. So if she was issued a city credit card and she used that credit card without any authorization, then why was she not arrested? Okay? She could have been, I don't care if she spent under $500, she should have been arrested for petty theft. So, okay, if you had this much on her Anything that she used was unauthorized. You mean to tell me, right, you had this much on her and she was not arrested? See, because in this country, we get arrested for jaywalking. For jaywalking. So you mean to tell me after she become the whistleblower and then, right, you want to offer her $100,000 to be quiet? I've been around the game 35 years. This ain't nothing new to me. This is nothing new to me. You offer her $100,000, but you have an opportunity. If she used that credit card, right, she could have been charged with fraudulent use of credit card. Miss, your city attorney, since she recommended that she resign, why didn't she recommend that she get arrested? This is unbelievable of the stuff that goes on in this city. You just had a parade, and then 48 hours you come back and you terminate everybody that missed the cost they hired. For what? You terminated. You mean what about the acting person that was before her? Why didn't you terminate the people that she hired? This just shows the label. And as I said before, right, this city has a stigma that you can't see unless you're in the spirit. Because in the carnal eye, you can't see it. You got to have the Spirit of God to be able to see the stigma that sits over this city. Now, you can throw all the papers and burn them all you want to, but until you rebuke the demonic spirits that's been in this city before I was born, 60 years, it's going to still be the same.
Thank you. All right. Next person, state your name for the record. Begin when you're ready.
Wesley Schuler. My concern is that, Mayor, you need to do your own investigation because the city manager, both of the city managers and the lawyer is doing stuff that's uncalled for in this hostile environment, for one. For two, it's dividing the city. And for three, you're not getting the answers that you need. You need to do your own investigation because some of the stuff that's coming out, it could have been avoided because they end up firing people that was uncalled for. Why would you want to hire somebody to do the job and then turn around and fire the people? Just because of one bad apple, they make it bad for everybody else? That's uncalled for. And then the lawyer, she turned around and hired somebody else to do an investigation, and they're in cahoots with each other. That is uncalled for. If you want this city to grow, you have to set the standard for you and the board to let them know, listen, we're not going to take no more mess from this. Because when they had the SJ situation, we was down here. Now we down here with this situation. When would it stop? Because it's not going to go nowhere. We're not going nowhere. So they can get that off their mind. And at the end of the day, why would, I hate to say it, but I'm going to have to go there now. The city manager turn around and put paperwork out that is uncalled for, false statements and stuff like that. So, Mayor, we asking you to take the lead and put them on suspension without pay.
All right, thank you. Next speaker.
Good night, I'm Pastor Ray Whiteley, 335 Northwest 7th Avenue in Boynton Beach. The presumption of innocence is a cornerstone of American legal system, and it reflects the belief that every individual deserves a chance to prove their innocence before being punished. What I saw, I think it was about a month ago when we were in a commission meeting, and Commissioner Hay voiced some concerns about an investigation from a legal team or something that was being hired by the attorney. If I'm not mistaken, that's what happened. And what happened was an investigation happened, and I'm not sure if the organizations that we recommended do an investigation is still doing that investigation. But this one comes out, and it's just something that somebody said. When I read it, I saw he say, she say, a whole bunch of stuff, which isn't really fair. And I would advocate for an unbiased investigation for anybody. It doesn't matter. My faith, it demands that I do that. Having an investigation that's not biased and it's just fair for anybody, including Mr. Coste. And I don't think that she's been given a fair chance to not only speak to the things that are there without being ridiculed and without being just put out to dry. Not only in Boynton, but in Delray. What I see is a deliberate attempt to really assassinate this person's character without her being given an opportunity to defend herself in the same way that the stuff is being put out. It's not right. I got up out of bed. I'm not feeling well, but I came because not only did I want this body to see that I'm here listening and watching, I wanted her to know that I stand in support of her. This is a lonely place to be. And if y'all ain't been here, eventually, if you keep doing the work that you're doing and challenging systems and establishments, they're going to come for you the same way. So I pray that God gives you all courage, discernment, and peace when you sleep at night doing what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, last call for in-person public comment speakers. Please make it known if you would like to speak. So from what I can see, there's only 2 more people who would like to speak, okay? And then we'll move on to those online. Go ahead, sir, state your name for the record.
I'm Doc Robinson. I just came here to observe and listen, and I want to share 2 things. And the first thing is for the audience. You have to be very careful of people whose feet contradict what their mouths say. And to the people on the panel, the mayor and everybody, nothing personal, I'm neutral. Be careful of the people's feet that you step on today, because it may be connected to the butt that you may have to kiss. Much love.
All right, thank you.
Bryce Graham, second vice president of the National Action Network, Central Florida chapter. Seems as if I have to keep coming back to Boynton Beach. And I'm reminded of what my mentor, Dick Gregory, once said. He said, vows are made, promises are made almost like marriage vows in the voting community, amongst candidates and amongst voters. But it seems as if in Boynton Beach, vows have been made to certain people and candidates. And somehow the promises and the vows are being broken. It is outrageous when you come to a city such as this where there is turmoil going on, attacking a black woman based off of political ploys, is the word that I want to use, is unacceptable. To fire 4 other employees that were also black women is outrageous. There's a saying that there is something not just wrong in Denmark, but there is something wrong, in fact, in Boynton Beach. When you have bias investigations going on and people who are a part of that investigation still keep their job. We must understand that we, the people, have a voice and we have power. And so I am asking the city of Boynton Beach to right their wrongs, unless we will have a true movement come here to Boynton Beach. And I will let it be known that I have been in contact with the DOJ and some of my friends up there to issue an investigation in Boynton Beach. Because where there's one set of corruption, there is an underlay of corruption. And so if we're going to pull the cat all the way out of the bag, we might as well go to the top and let the cat come all the way out of the bag as to the nonsense and to the corruption and to the ploys that have been going on in Boynton Beach for quite some time. So don't get comfortable where you are. Don't get comfortable with what you're doing.
All right, thank you,
because
sir.
we're
Your
coming.
time has expired. Thank you. All right. You are the last person in the room, Mr. McNolly, so please approach the podium and begin when you're ready.
You know my name. Good evening. Good evening. No good. Good evening. Can you turn the volume up on this? Good evening. Hi, Ernest McNolly. I live at 710 Northeast 7th Street, Harbor Hall Inlet. A very criminal place I live in. Dangerous, fire hazards. And I've actually had the police come there and falsely arrest me, according to a Superior Court judge and the prosecutor, jail me wrongfully, put my mugshot all over the world, and then they've done it to other people. And then they continue to come in these meetings or wherever I go and harass me. If I'm recording or doing a press coverage of city corruption, the police come up to me, they surround me, they bang on my windows, they threaten me. They tell me I can't be out. They're gonna arrest me again, over and over again. And look at the Lawrence Schramko case. Look what this police force did with the SWAT team at his house, and look what the judge ruled in his case and my case, both fully dismissed. And these police, city employees, are going around telling people, oh, we never sent you a letter that you can't call the non-emergency police line. Oh, we never did that. I don't know. Really? How about I have the letter? And it always comes as a threat. Oh, Mr. You report crime in Boynton Beach, we're going to charge you criminally, we're going to arrest you again, and we're going to sue you civilly. We're going to bankrupt you. And then they send the police to my house over and over, 6, 8, 10 of them, banging on my door. Come out, you terrorist. Are you kidding me? You are kidding me, right? You are kidding me? And are you going to go against what the prosecutor and the judge ruled in the Schramko case and in the McNolly case? Are you going to say, oh, police, false arrest, false imprisonment, life endangerment? Look, I love how this dais, they laugh. They think everything's funny. You think everything's funny involved in criminal activity in this city. And when I hear people come up here and say that everybody on this dais should resign, that's no joke, you know. That's no joke. What you're doing to fair, good people in this city is frightening and beyond belief. And you can't stop with the violence. And you're using this police force to inflict fear and violence on people. Can I get an extra 10 minutes? How about?
All right. We're going to move on now to those online public comment speakers. Let me double check my screen. Seeing no one online, public comment is now closed. We're going to proceed to the rest of the agenda. There is nothing under administrative, so we're going to go to consent agenda. Let's take a look at consent. Would my colleagues like to pull anything under consent agenda? I think you may have mentioned something, Commissioner Hay. I wasn't sure this consent or the next one. We'll wait a moment if you'd like to.
Okay. I would like to pull, what is it, 6B?
6B is your request?
Yes.
Okay. Any other requested items to be pulled from my colleagues, Vice Mayor, Commissioner Cruz? All right, so we'll address that in a moment. May I have a motion to approve the remainder of consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion from Commissioner Kelly. Is there a second?
Second.
From Commissioner Cruz? It was 6B. All right, all those in favor of the motion to approve the remainder of consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those who oppose? The ayes have it. Motion passes unanimously. So now we're going to address item 6B, which is proposed resolution number R24-041. It says approve and authorize the mayor to sign the interlocal agreement between the CRA and the city of Boynton Beach regarding Circuit Transit, Inc. for the BBCRA pilot rideshare program. Commissioner Hay, what was your question about this item?
Yeah, I just wanted to,
I'm gonna,
them
one
to-
second, could we close the door, please? Thank you so much. Go ahead, Commissioner.
I just wanted those, this program is coming up very soon, and I wanted them to, I wanted to highlight this and to talk about the number of vehicles, because I'm getting questions about it, and mention the kind of vehicles and some of the limitations to it, to the public about this, the Circuit Transit pilot ride program. If they would just, for the record, tell them when it's going to get started, the number of vehicles, and how it will work in 25 words, the Reader's Digest version.
Okay. Who do we have from staff who can discuss this item?
Mr. Temple? Come on down.
Adam.
So if I understood you correctly, Commissioner, you're looking for a brief overview?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good evening, Adam Temple, Assistant City Manager. Caught me off guard. Sorry about that. Let me grab the item. So this is a CRA item. I know that most of you are familiar with it as it's come before the CRA board. It's an interlocal agreement between us and the CRA for a micro-mobility circulator in the CRA district. On the 18th, a couple of months ago, the CRA board approved the contract with Circuit, which is a pilot ride-sharing program that will provide all-electric on-demand transportation services within the CRA boundary, as you can see up on your screen. It does include two routes, one of them in the light blue, and the other one that goes to in the shaded green that goes to the beach. The city's budgeted approximately $60,000 to cover our portion of the route, which goes to the ocean outside the CRA boundary. Do you have any particular questions on the agreement that you'd like me to go over?
Yeah, that portion that's outside the CRA district, do you have a feel for how much that's going to cost us? You may or may not, but it will cost us extra.
Well, we budgeted,
in
yes,
the green area.
we budgeted 60,000 for this.
$60,000 for the whole thing.
Right.
Okay.
And our portion would just be for the section, the route that goes outside the CRA boundary.
Will there be tips collected by the circuit company? You know, like if you want to give an extra, somebody may want to give $5 to the driver or something. Is that going to be any frowning on that?
I apologize, but I couldn't give you the specifics since I didn't negotiate the contract.
Okay, and we started off with two small and two large, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when is this going to start? The programming in Boynton?
Great question. Andrew, do you remember?
Yeah, I believe that, this is a CRA project, a pilot project
being done by the CRA, and our participation is really financial at this point. But what I recall is that they're going to install the charging stations on the north lot, I think in March, April, and should be starting sometime around then, April, May.
So we adding 3 new charge stations out here on Seacrest and
I believe
Boynton Beach
4.
Boulevard?
4 total.
Maybe
Yeah,
4.
those are specifically going to be used for the circuit vehicles to charge.
Okay, and my understanding is that if there's a group, the one person pays $2 or the $2, and the rest of the party pays $1.
That is correct.
Those fundings will be collected by,
Those will be done through the app, through the rideshare app, through Circuit, and they'll collect those funds to go to the company to offset the cost of the vehicles and the cost to the CRA.
so they will collect those funds and let us know how much was collected?
Yes, sir.
And then we backfill the difference or something?
Correct.
That
Yes.
how it works?
Yes, and then additionally, the advertising that they do advertise on the vehicles as well, I understand, and that some of that will also offset the cost to the residents as well.
Okay, it's just in the CRA district. Are there any plans, and how far down in the future, that we may go outside the CRA district? Is that in the making, in the thought pattern?
Yes, sir. So we have looked at it, hence one of the reasons why we are supporting this pilot project with the CRA. This is a new vendor. We've never done business with this vendor, so I know that they are reputable and done business in all of South Florida. Once we get the program started and we see the benefits and the actual fruit of the labors, then we're going to look at possibly moving that out west,
Okay.
possibly to the Tri-Rail station, or even out to the Congress corridor to give people a route out west as well.
And that's the reason for my asking. I've been asked, will it go to the mall, for example? And
At this
I
time,
didn't-
it won't, but I think if
this
we
time
see.
it won't, but
Correct. If we
maybe
see
in the
this
future.
success in this program and the money comes in as they proposed, I do believe that that's something that we'll look at in future upcoming budgets, potentially next fiscal year. Hopefully, we'll have enough data that we can include money to expand the route out west to Congress.
So what I hear, as we collect more data, we're going to fine tune it to make those types of adjustments.
Yes, but we do anticipate bringing back something to the commission with the budget, as a part of the budget, to potentially expand this out west to Congress and to like Tri-Rail.
Okay. Will there be ADA type assistant?
Yeah, my understanding is they'll have 4 vehicles. I believe 2 of them are gym cars, and then 2 of them are ADA accessible vehicles.
Okay. I'm good.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Hay. If there's nothing else from my colleagues, I have a motion to approve item 6B.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion from Commissioner Kelly, and I heard a second from... All right, I guess you both made the motion at the same time. Let the record reflect the motion was made by Commissioner Hay, the second from Commissioner Kelly. All those in favor of the motion to approve item 6B, say aye. Aye. All those who oppose, say no. The ayes have it, motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much. We're moving on to consent bids and purchases over $100,000. Are there any items that my colleagues would like to pull under this category? All right, no request. All right, thank you so much. We have a motion to approve consent bids and purchases over 100K. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, we have a second from Commissioner Hay. All those in favor of the motion to approve consent bids and purchases, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it, motion passes
Giving
unanimously.
you a chance to think. Like you were thinking about what
You can
wanted to
always
do.
second
I
for
was giving you a
discussion,
chance.
guys.
Yeah.
We're moving on to the proposed ordinance. Did I
thinking
skip
about pulling
anything? Is that right? Nope, that's correct. Section
Oh, yeah.
8A, proposed ordinance number 24-006, its second reading. City Clerk or Deputy City Clerk?
Proposed ordinance 24006, second reading and public hearing. Ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, repealing ordinance number 37, number 47, and number 136, and any amendments thereafter which established and revised segregation in the City of Boynton Beach, providing for conflicts of variability and an effective date.
All right, thank you so much. We've already discussed this. And is there anything else, any changes?
There's been no changes.
No changes.
There, we should allow public hearing.
Yes,
though,
yes.
with regard
But
to
let me
this.
just,
Thank you.
we will do that. Any questions from my colleagues? Hearing none, is there anyone who'd like to speak on this item? Please approach the podium now. This is item 8A. Okay, seeing no one approaching the podium, is there anybody online? I don't see anybody online. With that, public comments is now closed. May I have a motion to approve item 8A?
So moved.
We have a motion from Commissioner Kelly and a second from Vice Mayor Turkin. I think that may have been you first. All right, let's do the roll call vote.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Hay?
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Turkin?
Yes.
Mayor Pensurga?
Yes.
The vote is 5-0.
All right, thank you so much. That concludes that item. We're moving on to item 9A. It says, discuss rescheduling or canceling the March 19th, 2024 commission meeting. Due to the March 19th primary election, staff would like for the commission to consider rescheduling or canceling the March 19th commission meeting. Let's turn now to my colleagues for any questions or comments.
Yes.
Let's begin with Commissioner Cruz. Yeah,
Go ahead.
we'll go around the dais.
So then that means our next meeting would be in April.
Can someone double check that? Yes, but what day in April?
April 2nd, I believe.
April 2nd.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
What's your thoughts, Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I'm okay. So I guess we would consolidate March 19th to April 2nd. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Before I forget, Mayor, you had brought something up, like, I don't know, last summer about having a legislative break during the summer. I'm gonna ask that we bring that back up. And if we can get consensus to have city staff work on that. I, had a differing opinion last time, but I think it is a good idea.
How about we put that for future discussion for our next meeting?
Yep.
So this way, we'll all come back having reviewed our schedules and our plans, and hopefully we'll find something.
Perfect.
That's good for all of us, all right?
We have consensus on that, Mayor?
Yes, we do, for having a discussion next meeting, all right? We'll hash out the details of when's good for everybody then. Thank you for bringing that up. And so you have no objections to just moving forward with April? Okay. Commissioner Hay and Commissioner Kelly, your thoughts?
Yeah, that being spring break and everything, I'd say cancel that. April 2nd is fine with me.
Okay, all right.
That's fine. I was fine either way, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My preference would have been to just reschedule, but
Yeah.
not the end of the world.
So the 19th is canceled.
19th is canceled. Okay. And we will just proceed with the next available commission meeting or next regularly scheduled meeting, which would be April 2nd.
Second.
Okay, let me write that down.
Mayor?
Formal
Let's have
motion?
a motion, yes, please.
Yes. Oh, Mike.
Second.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Can we clarify the motion? The motion is to cancel.
Motion to cancel the March 19th, 2024 meeting and to combine those items into the April 2nd, 2024 meeting.
So move.
Okay. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Does this require public comment? Does this require public comment? Okay, all right. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, all right, that concludes 9A. 9B. We've already done that. So we have concluded everything. Would you like to make closing comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
We have a motion to adjourn and a second from Commissioner Kelly. All those in favor of the motion to adjourn, say aye.
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 Aye. Have a good night, everyone.
8:20, not bad.
8:23, yes, that is.